But new tonight, we're finding out new studies show more Americans support civil rights for the LGBTQ community than ever before.
So what has changed and why has it changed? Tonight, ABC Action News reporter Anthony Hill goes in depth to answer those questions.
According to the latest Gallup poll, 70% of Americans say they support same-sex marriage. That's compared to just 40% back in 2009. Experts believe that rate increase is due to more representation and visibility of people who identify as LGBTQ.
There was no visibility that I can remember growing up in my neighborhood, in our family, in our culture, and whatever we were doing. I don't ever remember seeing anybody that projected themselves like I felt.
Joy Winheim was born in Queens, New York in 1973, and for many years of her life, she kept her sexual orientation a secret. And like many people who had a different sexual orientation or gender identity, she feared being ostracized by her community and society.
And it was like, okay, well, I can't tell anybody, I can't tell anybody.
I identify as a gay man. I remember feeling very, very alone, not having clubs or support, not at school, not at home.
This is Eric Vaughn. He works with an organization called Community Tampa Bay. The organization's mission? To eliminate discrimination of all kinds, especially for children in the LGBTQ community. They're doing this by mentoring young leaders from diverse backgrounds to engage in cross-cultural conversations.
So we work with a lot of youth who identify as part of the LGBTQ community, and we really try to get to understand what issues they're facing in schools and their home communities, and we give them some tools to help them empower themselves so they can be advocates for themselves.
According to a new Gallup poll, 7.1% of American adults identify as being something other than heterosexual. That's double the percentage recorded back in 2012, when only 3.5% of American adults identified as being LGBTQ. Gallup attributes this increase to Generation Z being more open about their identity. One place where many people in the LGBTQ community haven't felt comfortable being open is the church.
Reverend Andy Oliver, A-N-D-Y-O-L-I-V-E-R, pastor of Allendale United Methodist Church in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Pastor Oliver says everyone is welcomed at his church.
We affirm the sacred worth of all people and strive to practice Christ's example of unconditional love without exclusion.
As a Christian, I believe that we're all made in God's image. And so, therefore, we also need all different types of people to see and understand what God looks like. And so if you're at a church that doesn't have any LGBTQ people at it, you're missing out on an aspect of who God looks like.
Pastor Oliver is one of many pastors in the United Methodist Church to go against the denomination's ban on carrying out same-sex marriages.
And we voted unanimously to do so. And so 4 years ago on St. Patrick's Day, Aaron and Betsy were married here.
Though there's been a lot of progress for the LGBTQ community as a whole, according to the Human Rights Campaign, at least 57 transgender people were murdered last year in the United States. That's compared to 44 from the year before. And Black and brown trans women are most often the victims. For Lucas Wheely, this is personal.
When I got the news, I was extremely heartbroken.
Lucas's friend, Jenny, a transgender woman, was violently murdered last year. Her body was found in Sulphur Springs. Damian Marshall was recently charged with first-degree murder in connection to her death. Lucas has vowed to continue to fight for transgender lives. As for Joy, even though she grew up closeted, that's not her reality anymore. She's a fierce advocate for those in the LGBTQ community. She's happily married and has a son. She says she just wants the trend of acceptance and normalization to continue, especially for children.
It's already so much more normal in those generations than it is in my generation and above, that it's going to be easy for those kids. And I'm so excited for that for them, that they won't have the struggles and the feelings that we had when we had to come out.
And some cool news here to share with you. Joy and her wife Lel will be this year's Grand Marshal couple in Tampa's Pride Parade. Talk about visibility. In Tampa, I'm in-depth reporter Anthony Hill, ABC Action News.